Warning, the stories you're about to hear are detailed accounts of shenanigans, pranks, and some mistakes that are meant to replicate the sort of discussions that veterans have when they reunite over a cold beverage and do not depict the professional daily actions of the military at large. We hope to make you laugh, but not to disrespect our proud men and women in uniform. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Cammo Comedy, where we take a humorous look at the lighter side of military service. We got a big show for you today, but before we jump into it, if you like what we're doing here, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, whatever they call it on your podcasting platform. And while you're at it, give us a 5-star rating, write us a review, as that makes us more relevant in the algorithm and boosts the overall visibility of the show. But word-of-mouth advertising is just so powerful, so if you tell some friends, I will love you forever. Okay, let's jump into the show. I am your host, Aaron Wolf. Just as a friendly reminder to the audience, we put out a new show every single Monday, so make sure you give the notification bell a nice tap. Give it a nice tap so you don't miss a show. Also, we are doing laughter therapy here on the show. We got a lot of military members who struggle with everyday life after service, and we're just here to share a laugh and remember the good times. Also, if you like what we're doing here and you want to keep us rolling, don't be shy about sending in your stories.
Send us your stories, bitch.
Joining me today is the man who taught me that French people are not saying boner when they greet each other. Special guest, Murph. Murph, thanks for being on the show today.
You can understand how I could be confused. Hear people say boner all over the place, but it was bonjour, some shit.
You're an uncultured swine.
Oh, jeez.
Get out of here with that BS.
Bonjour.
Also joining us today is the man who taught me that Cheetos does not make a flaming hot sex jelly, but they should. Call sign Cheeks. Cheeks, thanks for being on the show today, man.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here, and you can kind of mix the smashed Cheetos in with your KY to get that warming sensation.
That's a mistake.
So when you try that at home, folks, make sure you tell us about it while you're spreading cheeks and not hate.
Yeah, that'd be kind of like sandpaper, wouldn't it?
That'd be terrible.
Would not recommend. Would not recommend. All right, you guys ready for my first story?
Yes.
Yep. So we got ourselves another basic training story.
Yes.
This is actually a Marine Corps basic training, and it is from Lady Basic Training.
Nuh-uh.
Ooh. Yeah.
So have we expanded our female listeners to 5?
I think we might be up that high.
Wow.
So, as we all know, that basic training is very regimented, right? Like, your time is not your own. They're going to tell you when to go to sleep, when to wake up, when to eat, what to eat, when to exercise, all of these kinds of things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do those things.
So, in addition to that, we've talked about on the show before about contraband and how they are going to definitely emphasize what you eat and make sure that you don't have any contraband. Now, we've talked about contraband in basic training a little bit on the show before, too. No ladies sneaking in like boob chocolate in their brassiere or anything like this.
Show your tits.
Yeah, we can revisit that one. But there's another important thing about basic training, and it is mail call. So mail call is a very important time in basic training because it's essentially your window back into your old life that you've left behind, right?
Is this mail call, M-A-L-E call for female basic training?
No, it's M-A-I-L, thank you.
So they don't just line up a bunch of dudes and let them pick?
No, that is not how that goes.
That's how it worked in the infantry.
Nice. Well, for mail call in the Marines, you have to actually have a student leader request mail call, and then mail call is then administered by a drill instructor, right? So the other important thing to understand here is you do not get away with sending people any kind of contraband through the mail. That's like not a get out of jail free card or anything like that. They will tell you the second that you land at basic training, before you make your initial call home to let your family or whoever know that you got in safe, make sure you don't send any contraband to these people while they're in basic training. No nudies from your girlfriend or your boyfriend, whatever, no chocolates, no candies or anything like that, right?
And the list of contraband is just one line, and it says, anything that will bring you joy.
That's pretty much right. So, and it doesn't matter if it's fucking trick or treat. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas or your birthday. Now, we have one main character here that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to call her Milano. I guess I was thinking of Melissa Milano from Alf, from that fucking 80s show or something like that.
I don't think that's it.
What do you mean?
That wasn't Alf.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Alyssa Milano from Who's the Boss.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I stand corrected. Well, anyway, so we're going to call this young recruit, we're going to call her as her last name, Milano. Now, it just so happens that Milano happened to have a birthday smack dab in the middle of basic training. Now, Milano had made sure to tell her parents back home, make sure you don't send anything down here that would be considered to be contraband. However, Milano's mom just could not stand the idea of her special little girl being down in basic training and not being celebrated on her special day. So, she's kind of reasoning through it in her own way and just saying, you know what, maybe if I send enough stuff that everybody in the platoon gets a little special treat, then that'll pass the test, right?
Everybody in the class gets one.
Right, but this is not the same as like an elementary school class or something like that when you're celebrating
so fucked.
basic training. So,
Oh no.
the day comes and the student leader goes up and asks the drill instructors if they can initiate mail call. Now, on this particular mail call, every single one of the drill instructors just comes in smiling. And one of these, they're just fucking grinning ear to ear, and they are holding this gigantic box that recruit Milano's mom had sent down for her birthday, right?
It's an ice cream cake.
Is it Fudgy the Whale or something
It's
like
just
that?
dripping on the floor.
Well, as you can well imagine, the drill instructors had taken a little peek to see what was inside, so they kind of were tipped off about what was happening. So as the drill instructors storm in, they're smiling ear to ear, and they say, "Hey, somebody got a package!"
Oh no.
And then one of the drill instructors that was actually holding this gigantic package just throws it down on the floor, steps like one boot on top of it, and then puts her fists on her hips, like standing there all triumphant over the package. And she says, "It's somebody's birthday!"
Oh no.
Recruit Milano, why don't you come up in front and show us all what you got?
It's not my birthday.
Exactly. That's exactly what recruit Milano has got to be thinking at this point in time. She's like, there's no fucking way. I told my mom, please don't send anything down here.
Oh, Mom.
Now, when they start opening this thing up, this thing is packed full of Rice Krispie treats. There's all kinds of candies. They've got sleeves of Oreos and grandma's chocolate chip cookies are all in this thing. Now, the drill instructors are just having a heyday, and they're like, "Are you telling your family back home that we're not feeding you enough? Are you starving? What's going on?" Of course, recruit Milano is over there just being like, "Oh, no, that's not what happened. I tried to tell." Of course, she's not going to be able to get a word in edgewise.
No.
So the drill instructors start force feeding her all of the food that's in this fucking package, right? So she's getting a Rice Krispie treat shoved into her face. Cookie! Eat it! Put it in your mouth!
She's like, I don't want a cookie.
That is exactly what is happening. Now, in between different kind of treats that recruit Milano is now, I guess you could say, sort of enjoying, they're saying, "Drop and give me 25!" So she's got to drop and like crank out like 25 push-ups, and then they're going to have her get back up and be like, "Now it's time for a cookie." They're just giving her shit constantly, right? So
The whole sleeve just shoved down her throat, unwrapped.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So they ended up, they went through this. They had a nice heyday in making their point about how you don't send contraband down, no matter if it's your birthday or not. However, the funny part of this was that it was smack dab in the middle of basic training. One of the things that came out of this little event is just at random intervals through the rest of basic training, one of the drill sergeants would always kind of just yell out at random intervals. They would just be marching somewhere or something like this, and they would just say, "Milano!" Then Milano would respond, "Aye, ma'am." "What are cookies for?" "Cookies are for fat girls, ma'am." Just the whole time. "Cookies are for fat girls, ma'am." Oh, my God. I fucking love that story. And this is just a lesson to everybody out there in the audience.
Great.
If you've got family members or whatever in basic training is not the time to send a nice care package.
7 eating disorders were developed that day.
That is great.
Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. Can't say I've ever had a cookie force fed to me, but I'm into it.
Oh, my
shit.
gosh.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
So, well, let's talk about care packages since that's been started off. But I want to talk about the care packages that I got when I was overseas.
Okay.
They had mail back then?
Yes, I mean, and you know those ponies trying to come across the ocean.
Had to do a lot
of them drowned, so we didn't get a whole lot of mail. No, but you got to remember, back in my day, and of course we're talking the early 70s. That's back in the 1900s, yes, Cheeks.
1900s.
But back then, we didn't have cell phones. There was no texting. And contrary to what you see on the TV show MASH, you could not pick up a phone and call home.
I thought you were going to say cross-dress.
No, well, you couldn't do that either. But
Old Klinger.
well, yeah, they took that a little further. But anyway, but you couldn't call home, so you really had no contact with home.
Yeah, right.
Except through letters and letters that and that's where the saying came. You got to write them to get them.
Yeah,
and so of course, as soon as I got in country, one of the first things I did by order of my mother, of course, was to send a letter home to her with my address so that she could write, so that she could make sure that I was writing her and that she could know that her little boy was okay.
That's what moms do, right?
Well, yeah, no, it was. And it was nice because it was the only real influx of information from home that anybody got.
Right.
Sure.
Of course, my mother was very good at sending care packages.
Right.
So those started coming in. Of course, whenever anybody got one, we shared whatever we got and all of that stuff.
Yeah, as you do.
Well, yes. And one day I was writing my mother, and if you recall from earlier episodes, I was stationed primarily at a headquarters that had pretty good rations. We ate pretty well by and large, except for coffee. And so, but it lacked something. And I had a craving for all things fruit cocktail.
Okay.
Don't know why, but I just had that craving. And no, I wasn't pregnant.
What?
So
what is a fruit cocktail?
Well, you know, it's a can of fruit that's been chopped up. It's in a heavy syrup that is all sugar.
Yes.
Right.
And, just thick and just yummy.
So your diabetes told you to write home?
Yes, that's about right.
Reminds me of that movie Half Baked where that guy is saying, like,
when I come for you, fish, I'm going to want some cocktail. Fruit.
So, Murph, you were something like that.
Yes.
Writing home to your mom saying, I want some cocktail, fruit.
There you are.
All right.
And so I just included that in the letter. Well, her next care package came, and sure enough, there was a can of fruit cocktail.
Shit.
And I looked at that and I said, oh my gosh, oh, that looks so good. So then I had to dig out my P38.
What is that?
That's a can opener from Sea Rations.
Really shitty can opener.
Yeah.
But it works. It works. It's the only thing, the next step is a bayonet, That's even worse.
That's way worse.
So I opened that sucker up and I started sucking down that fruit cocktail. And it was the greatest thing because it just said home.
Yeah.
Right. I was just getting ready to say that.
And that was the biggest thing about it. And from then on, every care package I got from her had a can of fruit cocktail in it.
Hell yeah.
And and by golly, as soon as I get those, they were gone.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it really was. And of course, I thank her profusely in every letter for that. And it was fantastic.
Well, it's not like you're going to wait around for one of your guys to steal it from you or something like that when you're not looking.
No, but all the other stuff, was free game. But
sure,
the sleeves of cookies and all of that they could have. But that fruit cocktail, and she really sent some great care packages, and I think kind of passed that down.
Yeah. I remember the first time you told me that story. So if anybody is tracking stories and timelines and whatnot, if you haven't figured it out yet, Murph is Cheeks' uncle.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes. Yeah. We are blood related.
You did not tell me that.
I, too, can drive a sedan.
Audition.
So when Murph first told me that story, I was like, dude, that's awesome. What a cool thing to remember, right? And then when I was deploying on my first deployment with the Army, Murph told me, he's like, hey, when you get over there, you're going to get some kind of craving for something. Might even be something you've never craved before in your life. Let me know what it is. I'll send it to you.
Just that taste of home.
So I get overseas, and for whatever reason, I start craving Swedish fish, the candy. Never really ate them back stateside ever, but I was like, man, I really want some Swedish fish. So my diabetes was telling me to write home as well.
Yep.
Getting that red 40.
So I write a letter to Murph. Next thing I know, I'm getting a care package, right? And Murph's late wife was the one who was sending us the care packages overseas, and they were hands down the best care packages I have ever received in my life.
She put a lot of work into those.
She killed it. But in this care package, I would always have Swedish fish to remind me of home, and I would also have a fruit cocktail with a note on it.
Fuck out of here.
So I'd always get a fruit cocktail with a note like your mom would write you for lunch. You know what I mean? I'd have that in there and some Swedish fish, and that was Murph's contribution. Everything else was from my aunt, and she gave the best care pack. I'm talking candies, toys. She would send me Legos or those little Legos.
What in the fuck are you doing with Legos?
You build them.
Okay.
What else do you do with Legos?
You're playing with your blocks.
Yes. She would even send those tiny little straw things that have a helicopter propeller on the top and you spin them in your hands.
Yeah.
Just silly fun stuff like that to take your mind off of what you were doing overseas. They were the best ever.
Nice.
So that note that was on that fruit cocktail was actually an explanation of why the fruit cocktail was included in there. The whole story that I just told.
Yeah, that's nice.
And a takeoff from that is after that, the VFW that I belong to was sending care packages to numerous units over there. I started putting a can with that note and explanation in every box.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if anybody got a kick out of it or not, but it was a carryover from one war to another.
I know that we always appreciated the packages. I would go through it and I'd do the same thing you did where I'd take out what I want and then we would share it all. I actually remember one of the guys that I was with, this is kind of fucked up, but it's funny. So he would do the same thing, right? He'd take stuff out of his care package and then we'd leave it for everybody else. Well, on one care package, he got a remote control helicopter, like one of those real cheap ones before drones were even a thing, right? Where it'll go up and down and you have very, very minimal controls on it. Well, he opens it up and I snatch it from him and I run outside. I turn it on and I push the up button to see how high it'll go. Well, it goes up and flies over the HESCO barrier into Afghanistan. Oh,
no. Holy shit.
Fucking gone forever.
So that's gone.
He never got it back.
Oh.
I felt so bad.
It's like, where are you going to go get that? Cheeks.
No, that's gone forever. I owe that guy a helicopter.
I would say so. That's an awesome story. A way to keep that tradition alive.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
One generation to the next.
We'll be right back with more Cammo Comedy after a quick word from our sponsor. Stay tuned.
With Just the Tip Tactical, Just the Tip has never felt so good. Their top-notch muzzle brakes tame your rifle's recoil, keeping you locked on target and grinning like you just hit the bullseye in more ways than one. Say goodbye to kick and hello to faster follow-up shots. Check them out today at justthetiptactical.com. That's justthetiptactical.com. Whether you're looking to improve your rifle or just want some cool apparel with an eye-catching logo, go now to justthetiptactical.com. That's justthetiptactical.com. Enter promo code WOLF, that's WOLF, for 15% off. You can't beat that. And when you patronize the companies that sponsor us, it helps us pay the bills over here. So thank you for supporting the businesses that support us. Patriot Mobile. If you haven't made the switch yet, then what are you waiting for? 4 years, Patriot Mobile has stood on the principle that freedom is worth fighting for. These guys are legit and staunchly pro-military. Patriot Mobile supports all kinds of pro-military causes to include Warrior Rising, Folds of Honor, Boot Campaign, Tunnel to Towers, Soldier Strong, and Carry the Load. So don't support those big companies that don't got your back. Make the switch to Patriot Mobile today. Now, I know what you're thinking. Aaron, I like my coverage, and I don't want to drive to a shop and go through the hassle of switching my service. Well, good news. Patriot Mobile has better coverage because it's one of the only providers that can give you coverage on any of the 3 major networks. And it's not a hassle to sign up. Just call their U.S.-based customer service line at 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Or just click the link in the description and sign up. It usually only takes about 15 minutes using an eSIM, and you don't have to drive
anywhere. Now, if you're locked into a contract, not to worry, because Patriot Mobile has a buyout program of up to $500 per device. So call today, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Or just click the link in the description and make sure you use the promo code WOLF, that's WOLF, for 1 free month of service. Okay, let's get back into the show.
So I got our next story going in here.
All right, what you got, man?
So I've got a guy's name. We're going to call him Power Tower, okay?
Okay.
So Power Tower's a younger, lower enlisted guy. He's on deployment, and he's kind of a quiet guy by nature. You know, he's still trying to get accepted into the group that he's in, and he doesn't really talk much. Well, Power Tower is still wearing his Army-issued glasses, okay?
Get the fuck out of
So,
here.
yeah,
They call those BCGs.
Yes, the birth control glasses, birth control goggles. Oh, yeah. Well, picture...
Well, hold on a second. For those in the audience who might not know, the reason they call that birth control glasses is because they are ugly as fuck, right?
Oh,
so
God,
basically, you're not going to have any worries about getting any ladies pregnant because you're not going to be getting any ladies.
Yeah, picture Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys, okay?
Big old thick glasses.
That's what Power Tower looks like walking around sporting these things, all right? So, and keep this in mind, he's also the type of guy that's still wearing his tighty tans that he was issued.
What?
Because he didn't know that he could buy his own underwear and wear them. So he's
Who in the fuck is going to check? Like, all right, let me see your undies.
anybody in the infantry is going to check.
Well, okay, fair.
So Power Tower's getting ready for mission one day. They're deployed to the Middle East, and he walks up to his platoon. He kind of saunters on up, takes his glasses off, starts cleaning them with his combat shirt. Everybody's looking at him. He drops this. He goes, "Man, I hate when I forget to take my swag off at night and I wake up covered in bitches." It's like, I forgot to put my looks on safe. And he's sitting there cleaning his glasses.
Get the fuck out of here.
Throws them on like fucking Clark Kent and walks away.
See, that is the best. And we've all known guys like this that don't really pipe up a whole hell of a lot. Whenever they do, it's gold.
Yes.
I love that.
That's a fucking great line, man.
Got to keep my looks on safe. Okay, I got the next story. We got ourselves an Air Force story, and this story is going back to the early 2000s, right? We've got one main character here, and we're going to call her Beth, okay? So it's important to understand that Beth is an admin troop who is actually connected with an air crew, and they are deployed to Turkey, of all places.
Now, does that have anything to do with Thanksgiving?
Now, this isn't West Virginia.
This is the country of Turkey.
Oh, okay.
So
Turkeys are out there fucking all the time.
maybe that's what that was from. It
Maybe
just
that's
talks
what
about all
that
the
was.
turkeys that are the literal bird turkeys that are in there that have tons of sex partners.
I may or may not have been inebriated when I read this fact.
Okay, that's fair.
It might be the bird turkey.
So Beth is an admin. She's connected with an air crew. They have actual air crew people. So it'll be like your crew chief, your load master, people like that, right?
Pilots.
Well, pilots are a little bit different, but we're talking about enlisted people here.
Loadmaster in the infantry, that's a guy taking a dump. I mean,
I was interpreting it as a different kind of loadmaster.
So it just kind of depends on whatever the ops tempo is. If they've got a lot of flights, a lot of sorties that are going out, a lot of missions, a lot of times these guys are busy as fuck. They're going to be doing 12-hour, 16-hour days at a minimum, right? However, if some of their aircraft break down, or if they kind of like have a lower ops tempo where they're not going out as much, they might have several days off. So mixed into this air crew, you also have what they call life support guys. Now, life support guys are people who are responsible for like putting together the parachutes that go on the planes, life rafts, things of that nature. Well, it just so happened these life support guys that are kind of like in the mix with their deployment, as a certification that they had to do, had to get SCUBA certified.
What?
Right? Yes. And this is why people hate the Air Force.
Yeah, what the I had to get all kinds of certified.
Scuba?
Yes, SCUBA certified. So for those
as in underwater.
Yes, absolutely, underwater. So that was part of some of the certifications that they actually had to get. So Beth kind of pipes up. You know, they had a few days that were kind of down days, and she's like, hey, can I jump in on that? Of course, the life support guys are like, yeah, I don't see why not. Just come on along.
The taxpayers won't mind.
Well, in order to get SCUBA certified, right? Like there's going to be a little bit of classroom days where you just get familiar with all of your different equipment and all that kind of stuff. But they also have two different phases where they call it a confined water phase and an open water phase. Now, the confined water phase is you're going to put all your gear on and you're going to swim around like a swimming pool or something like that. Just start getting the hang of it. But when it comes to the open water, you actually have to go to a natural body of water and swim around. So when this group actually had to go to the open water portion of their certification, they decided to go to the Mediterranean Sea because they're in Turkey. So, hey, that's the next closest body of water. So who wouldn't want to go to the Mediterranean Sea to get scuba certified, right? Now, we will talk about the rough part here. It's actually
There's no fucking rough part. She's going scuba dive. She's getting paid to scuba dive.
So,
The rough part was the rough part that she had to walk on the hot sand.
Well, it was. See, this is the rough part because it was like actually April time frame, so it was a little chilly outside.
All right.
So it was a little chilly, and the water was going to be pretty cold.
Oh, it's so brisk. The worst part about my scuba diving experience is that it was chilly.
It was a little chilly outside. Exactly. So they get all loaded up and they go out into the Mediterranean Sea. The first thing that Beth notices is that the water is pretty murky and it's not necessarily easy to see anything. So she's just like, all right, cool. I'm going to hang close to one of these life support guys and just kind of swim around. So she's just kind of swimming around following this life support guy. And like we said, the water's a little chilly, but every once in a while she passes by one of these hydrothermal vents and she gets this nice blast of like warm water. And she's like, oh, that's kind of nice. Just kind of swimming around, still murky. Can't see a whole lot in there.
Oh, so the worst part of her day was solved.
Yeah, you could say that.
Poor thing. She was intermittently chilly.
Yeah. So she's swimming around a little bit. Every once in a while, like I said, she'd hit one of these hydrothermal vents and, get a little blast of warm water and stuff like that. So anyway, they're out there for a while and they're, finishing up and everybody's kind of like gathering back on the beach and packing up their gear. It was a fun experience. So they're just kind of talking about like, some of the things that they saw and how cool it was and all this, that, and the other. And then Beth kind of mentioned, she's like, yeah, I couldn't really see a whole lot, but it was really nice. Every once in a while, I'd get this blast from one of those hydrothermal vents and just get some like nice warm water. That was kind of nice. And then one of the life support guys kind of like pauses and looks at her and says, were you swimming behind me?
No.
And Beth looks at him and says, well, yeah, I was. And then this life support guy looks back at Beth and says, oh, you're welcome.
Oh, gross.
It takes Beth about 20 seconds to compute that those were not hydrothermal vents that she was swimming by. This motherfucker was pissing and she was swimming through his piss.
She was swimming through his warm water discharge. Holy shit.
Who says the Air Force doesn't have it rough?
She's just lingering. All right, so that was the worst part of her day, swimming through piss.
Now, she said it's been like 25 years or something like that by this point. She's still a little grossed out by it, but we will say she's a really good sport. She was like, you motherfucker, that's gross.
Do her friends randomly text me like, hey, remember that time you were swimming through piss? Do you remember?
I don't know that actually happens, but like we said, she's a really good sport about this one, so it was pretty funny.
That's amazing.
But yes.
So she's now certified scuba for a septic tank.
Yeah.
You got to change anything out down there. That's your lady.
Fucking gross.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Cammo Comedy Show Podcast. If you like what we're doing here and you want to participate in this community, there are many different ways you can contribute.
First and foremost, tell someone about the show. Word of mouth advertising is very powerful, and we really appreciate you helping us out.
If you have any funny military stories of your own or know somebody who does, with their permission, of course, you can contribute those stories via email at stories@cammocomedy.com. That's stories, STORIES, at CAMMOCOMEDY.com. And if you're not too good at the internets, drop us a voicemail at area code 531-222-6146. That's area code 531-222-6146.
Yeah, and if you want to interact with us throughout the week, hit me up on my socials, Facebook and Instagram. Just look up ! Cheeks.
We have a lot of big plans for this show. In building this community to support veterans, we will announce here soon. So stay tuned. All right. I'm going to go enjoy a nice pasta salad with a little mayonnaise later.
Okay, first of all, mayonnaise?
Why do you always have a problem with the way I talk?
There's a way you're supposed to say the word, Aaron.
Mayonnaise?
That's not it.
Panaz.
That's not fucking it, Aaron. That's not...
I am your host, Aaron Wolf. Just as a friendly reminder to the audience, we put out a new show every single Monday, so make sure you... Fuck.
You're doing great.
Thanks.
What the fuck's up, Denny's?